Hi guys! I'm about to break down exactly how to get any woman you want. Not just talk to her, not just sit around hoping she notices you. I'm talking about making her feel your presence before you even open your mouth. So by the time you do speak, she's already locked in. This isn't about playing games or any kind of manipulation. This is psychology, backed by real studies and rooted in human behavior. And by the end of this video, you won't just know how to get her, you'll know how to flip the switch that makes her want you first. Number 1. You have to create an internal disruption. Most women already have some sort of idea of the kind of man they want. Your job is not to fit that idea. Your job is to interrupt it. Psychologically, this is called pattern interruption. Her brain is wired to expect the usual, guys trying to compliment her, impress her, or act extra confident. That's not only predictable, that's forgettable. But when you show up calm, controlled, and not trying to win her over, that throws her off. That break in her mental pattern forces her to pay attention. Why? Because the brain is wired for contrast. The average man blends in because he follows the same emotional script. She's seen it 100 times. But the second you break that script, you cause what's called a cognitive spike, which is the brain's way of saying, wait, what just happened? And once you trigger that spike, she has no choice but to focus on you. Say less. And when you do speak, say something she didn't quite expect. Example, instead of saying, hi, how are you? Or, hi, I just want to meet you. Say, hey, I don't do this often, but something told me I'd regret not introducing myself. My name is blank. What's yours? That line works so well because it blends selectiveness with intent. You're not coming off like a guy who approaches every single woman. You're making it clear that something specific about her caught your attention. It flatters her ego, triggers curiosity, and throws off her usual filter. She's not used to that, and that's exactly why it hits. Number 2, leverage the Pratfall Effect. I delve very deep into this in my book, Attraction Secrets, because this is one most men never use, but it works like a drug when it's done right. The University of Minnesota ran a study and found that people become more attractive when they show a minor flaw after they've already shown value. What that basically means is this: you need to prove you're solid first. Show you're confident, composed, and in control. Then you can drop something relatable. That contrast hits harder because it doesn't come off as weak, it comes off as human. This should come as a huge sigh of relief to most of you because not only is it okay to make mistakes, it's actually recommended to have a few slip-ups. A guy who's confident, grounded, but laughs at himself for stumbling on a word or admits something awkward about himself from high school, he lowers women's guards around him because he's highly relatable. She sees he's not performing. He's not trying to be flawless. And in a world of men trying too hard, that's what a lot of guys miss. So instead of always trying to look like the most, perfect polished man in the room, combine composure with realness. That contrast builds trust, and trust is what makes her lean in. Realness will always hit the hardest, especially when she's used to men performing. Because in a world full of guys trying to be liked, realness is what wins the game. And if you want examples of how to drop these small flaws naturally without overthinking it, here's a few some guys have said to me personally, and it made me laugh and just ease the tension overall. I swear my GPS waits until the last second just to watch me miss the exit. Don't judge me, but I still don't know how to fold a fitted sheet. I just shove it in the closet and close the door. I panicked and said, you too, when a waiter told me to enjoy my meal. I still haven't recovered from that. Each one of those is simple, real, and disarming. They work because they lower the tension instead of trying to build status. When you show a minor flaw after already displaying strength, it lowers a woman's defenses because it subconsciously gives her permission to be human too. So when a man shows he's not obsessed with being perfect, it triggers something powerful for a woman: relief. Number 3, match her energy, then disrupt it. This isn't about playing games, this is about protecting your energy. Most men overinvest way too early. They respond instantly. They send 2 messages for everyone she sends. So when she sees that imbalance, she starts losing interest because in her mind, you've already given yourself to her before she's earned it. Women know that a man who respects himself doesn't chase. He doesn't overextend. He mirrors her pace, not to manipulate her, but to make sure she's even worth his full attention. If she takes a while to respond, you take your time. If she is brief and to the point, keep it simple. That shows moderation and discipline. You're not responding, you're assessing. And that is exactly why she takes you seriously. Once she is at ease, she anticipates that the rhythm will remain constant. You disrupt it. You don't ghost or vanish, you simply swap gears. Maybe you end the conversation early, maybe you don't initiate contact for a day or two. Not out of spite, but because you're focused on your own life. You're grounded. Why does this work? Because now she's left to wonder where your attention went. And that uncertainty triggers tension. Not because you necessarily played a game, but because you showed you're not the kind of man who clings to attention. You give it when it's earned. For example, you're texting back and forth and she's used to the pace of things. Instead of stretching the conversation out, you say, "Hey, I've got a few things I gotta handle. I'll catch you later." Short, respectful, but final. Now she's left in a space most guys are afraid to create. But that space is where tension grows, and tension is where desire builds. This is a level of emotional discipline a lot of guys don't get to. You're not pulling back to trick her. You're pulling back because your time, energy, and attention is not cheap. Number 4, use your voice tone to trigger her. This isn't about what words come out of your mouth. It's about how your voice makes her body respond before she even realizes it. There's a whole field of research in biopsychology that proves this. The sound of your voice changes how a woman feels physically. Her nervous system reacts to your tone before her brain even processes any word you said. If your voice is shaky, rushed, or too high-pitched, it signals stress, immaturity, weakness. She'll feel it immediately. But when your voice is calm, grounded, and paced, everything shifts. You stop sounding like every other guy trying to impress her. You start sounding like a man who's in control, a man who leads, a man who's safe to follow. Not because you said it, but because her body felt it. This isn't just theory. Studies from the University of Stirling confirm that women's attraction spikes when they hear deeper, more stable voice tones, especially when those tones are slow, intentional, and dominant. This doesn't mean you force your voice to go deeper because that's going to sound fake. It means you slow down, relax your throat, and speak from your chest, not your head. It means you stop filling every silence. You let your words land, you say something bold, then wait. Let her sit with it. Let the silence carry weight. Because when a man says something powerful and follows it with stillness, that's when she starts hanging on to his every word. That's when she mirrors your tone without realizing it. That's when she gives you her full attention. A lot of guys lose the moment because they talk too much. You win the moment by talking right. Slow your pace and drop your tone slightly. Speak like your words matter because they do. And when you do pause, hold it. Make her come to you. Here's a real-world example. You're on the phone with her. She's overthinking, maybe venting. Instead of fixing it, you calmly say, "Hey, slow down for a second. You're thinking way too hard about this." Then pause. Let that silence sit. You then finish with, "You don't need to figure everything out right now." No rushing, no over-explaining. That calm tone resets hers. This is how you lead without manipulating. You're not overpowering her, you're imprinting her biologically, psychologically, subconsciously. Because when your voice signals calm, her body connects it with safety, with presence, with strength. That's when you go from just another guy to the one her body trusts. Number 5, activate her hypergamy scan on purpose. Every woman has a subconscious filter. She might not realize it, but her biology does. It's called hypergamy, and I know you guys have heard this before. It's a built-in drive that makes her evaluate every single man she meets by one question. Is this the strongest option available to me? That doesn't mean richest, that doesn't mean best looking, it means the most advantageous. Her brain is looking for signs. This man leads, this man protects and doesn't fold. This is why body language matters so much. That's why your tone hits harder than any flex. Because women aren't drawn to desperation, they're drawn to certainty. Certainty in how you move, certainty in how others treat you, certainty in how little you need her approval. A lot of men never trigger this scan because they try too hard. They talk too much. They over-explain before they're even questioned. And once that happens, her brain files you under low quality. But when your energy says, "I don't chase, I observe," her instincts naturally kick in. Now she starts looking for proof. Here's an example. You're out. A waiter brings the wrong drink. You calmly say, "Actually, that's not what I ordered. Can you bring the other one?" No emotion, no apology, just direct. She watches it all. You didn't snap, you didn't shrink. That one moment tells her a lot. You expect things to be right. You have a certain standard, you don't tolerate errors, and you speak with calm authority. That's how you trigger her hypergamy scan without saying anything about yourself. You're not flexing, you're not trying to appear high quality. You just are. And she knows it. That's why women test, not to be difficult, but to see if the power you project is real. And if it is, she files you under a certain category not a lot of men are in. Now she's working to keep your attention, not the other way around. Number 6, don't fill silence, use it as a weapon. When most guys get nervous, they talk. They crack jokes, they over-explain. They try to fill the space because silence feels unsafe. But when a man is comfortable in silence, that silence turns into pressure. And pressure makes her feel you. So here's what you do. Say something bold, hold the eye contact, then say nothing. Let her sit with it. Let her process it. Let that air between you two get thick for a second. Because that moment, that's when she starts wondering what you're thinking. That's when the attention flips. And now you've got her. Most men completely kill their power by trying to entertain her, but real dominance is shown in restraint. For example, let's say you're on a date. She challenges something you said, maybe with a little bit of an attitude. She says, "Oh, so you think you're always right?" You don't. You lean back slightly, hold eye contact, and say, "I usually am." Then you pause. No smile, no explanation. You let the silence do the talking for you. Now her brain is scanning everything about you, your tone, your body language, your posture, your confidence. That pause creates tension, and that tension is what skyrockets her attraction for you. She shifted from testing you to being turned on by you. You didn't do anything on purpose. You didn't justify anything. You let your presence speak louder than your words ever could. And that's the entire point. When your energy is calm and your pauses are intentional, you shift the power dynamic without ever having to raise your voice or prove a thing. Number 7, make her imagine you with other women without saying it. Don't say you have options. Hint at it. Drop clues. Be subtle. Mention a female friend casually. Say you've been focused, haven't really had time to date. Imply, don't announce that other women are around. Why does this work? Because women are wired for pre-selection. It's been proven in evolutionary psychology for years and years. When she senses other women want you, her brain labels you as valuable. That one signal spikes her emotional investment fast. Suddenly, her limbic system lights up. That's the part of the brain that controls instinct, emotion, and survival. It doesn't think, it reacts. So when it senses women want you, it triggers attraction automatically. Now she's scanning you harder. She's listening more closely. Not because you necessarily impressed her, but because she's comparing herself to other women you might have. She doesn't just feel attraction, she feels urgency. That's what creates silent competition. If you've ever chased a woman who barely noticed you, this is how you flip it. You don't chase, you disrupt. You don't seek her validation, you become the validation trigger. You don't win her by performing, you win her by pulling back. Because the strongest psychological seduction tool is her imagination. And when you guide it right, it does the work for you. Now she's checking her phone faster. She's replying to your messages quicker. She's competing without even realizing it. Remember, guys, the goal isn't to play games. It's to understand them so you can operate on a higher level. The techniques we covered today are about psychology, not manipulation. It's about embodying the kind of powerful, centered presence that women are naturally, biologically drawn to. It's about flipping the script so that you're no longer the chaser, but the one being pursued. I want to hear from you. Which of these psychological triggers resonated the most? Let me know in the comments below. And if you're ready for more, hit subscribe and turn on those notifications. Until next time, remember, attraction isn't something you ask for, it's something you command.